Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss. You're watching my review for World Trigger Chapter 48. And this one starts off by going back in time a few seconds to before the Ilgars collided with HQ. And it turns out that they actually managed to shoot down one of them. And then it was the last one that hit. And it turns out that the person who saved them, it wasn't Kido. It wasn't Shinoda either. It was Kinuta. He's like the last guy I expected to do something. Apparently he fortified the wall out with extra Tryon or something after the incident the other day. In other words, when Chica blew a hole through it. So as a matter, I'm actually going to I'm going to give Chica credit for saving Border, right? You heard it here first, all right? Chica saved Border HQ, all right? That's it, all right? That's it. Chica saved Border HQ. If not for her, then the Border HQ would be destroyed right now, right? So, boom. Alright, Chica saved Border HQ, and she did it again, too. She did it the second time, because 3 more Ilgars showed up, and they, again, HQ only managed to shoot one down, right? But Tachikawa shows up. Tachikawa. Right, this part was awesome. He just cuts one in 4 and shows up on the next page in a double-page spread. Right, that was pretty epic. Alright, he just showed up. And then Chica took care of the last one by it collided with Border HQ, and the walls or whatever held up, and that was that. All right. So yeah, Chica saved Border HQ twice. All right. Tachikawa, as far as he goes, he left right after that to go take down rabbits. And Yuma started talking about how impressive it was for Tachikawa to take one down, because when they're in self-destruct mode, they're much tougher to defeat, and it's easier to just drag them down, which is what Yuma did when the one Ilgar from before appeared in Ai Kitora, tried to take it down, and Ai actually hears him talking about that, so she makes the connection that, oh, he must have been the person who helped me before. Right? So Yuma talked a little bit too much there, but not that big of a deal. Actually, it's a good thing he did. But him and Osamu decide that since Chica and Izuo are by themselves with like the evacuating people, and that area is being abandoned, but not abandoned, but it's being saved for later. They want to go back and support her and defeat the neighbors and the Tryon soldiers that are going over there. And Kido steps in and says, no. Okay? Shinoda says yes, but Kido says no. He says, Osamu, you can go, but Yuma Kuga, you are staying right here. You are going to be with the Arashiyama squad, and you are going to fight against those Tryon soldiers and the new type Tryon soldiers, the rabbits, And he says that his reasoning behind that is actually pretty good. I thought this was actually a pretty good part of the chapter. This and Tachikawa were my favorite parts. Kido just like sitting up there with his eyes squinted, like looking down on people, he knows he's right, so why even bother showing like any extra emotion or anything like that? He knows he's right, and he knows that people are going to do what he says because he is right, and he knows that he's just like just sitting there like a boss. Like, well, he is the boss, right? Kido's awesome, and he tells Yuma and the others that both citizens and agents are going to be confused, like Chano Squad was. I think that's what they were, Chano Squad. They're all going to be confused because Yuma has a black trigger. So they say that, so he says because of that reason he has to not show himself around citizens, but also since he was able to take down one of the rabbits, it shows that he's effective against them, where most agents aren't. So he should also stay with the Arashiyama squad for that reason too, to take down rabbits. And he actually has another interesting line here where he says that in times of danger, Yuma's always going to rely on his black trigger. And he says that he is just like his father in that regard. So that was interesting. Kido, sooner or later, we're going to learn all of what happened between him and Yuma's dad. I'm personally looking forward to it. I think learning more about Yuga is going to be very interesting. I think that'll be an interesting part of the series. When it's going to come, I don't know, but I like the fact that we're getting hints of this already. Um, but yeah, after that, Osamu leaves to go help Chika, and Ai decides to go with him because she has a debt to pay to Yuma for helping her take down the Ilgar. So, since he can't go, she decides to go for him. And yeah, Shinoda, the last 2 pages were Shinoda trying to figure out why exactly Crater, after Crater, didn't send more Ilgars, because they could have just destroyed Border HQ right there, but they didn't. They just stopped right there. And Anadora was trying to figure that out too. The guy with the one black eye, he was trying to figure out too, and so was Hyren's brother. Actually, they're like, well, why do we care what strategy these lower life forms are using? We can just kill them now, so let's just do it. And Hyren says, you're misunderstanding things, all right? Our goal here is not to occupy or to take over Miden, all right? What I'm trying to do right now is confuse them and reveal their firepower. And this, in the last panel of the chapter after that, it shows Chika and Izuho, but mainly Chika, which makes me think that their plan has something to do with Chika. Whether they know it yet or not, I don't know. Maybe they sense this big Trion signal, and they're going after that, or maybe it's Chika specifically that they're going after, and they already know that. And I say they, but Hyren is probably the only person who actually knows what's going on right now, which is interesting. All these guys are invading another world, and none of them know why, except for Hyren. And it's not like they trust him that much either, because they keep arguing with him on saying that he's doing the wrong thing. So I just find that situation interesting, that they're invading another world, and Hyren is the only one that knows why. Yet they don't trust him, so I don't know why they would, unless he purposely misled them. But I don't know. It's probably not that important. But now I'm assuming that Hyren's goal here involves Chika in some way, shape, or form. She's going to be involved in this. She's going to use that little mini replica. Yuma's going to come going back to try and help her and Izuho and Osamu and Ai Kitora. Ai is going to hold the enemy back just enough so that Yuma can show up just in the nick of time and in typical shonen fashion and save Chika. Maybe then that's when Hyren or Enedora or Mira or one of those people, one of those crater guys, one of those neighbors is going to come down, and or maybe multiple ones, who knows? But I don't know. Because right now the way the arc is going is it's mostly just, it's kind of like the last arc in Freezing, right? It's a bunch of mindless enemies, and there's no we have a face to the enemy now, but the face of the enemy isn't doing anything. They're just sitting there. So right now the part that I at least am looking forward to is when the face of the enemy actually comes down and gets involved. So until then, the arc, so far it's been incredibly interesting, but I don't know how long it can keep that up if all it does is have border agents fighting against these mindless enemies in the Trion soldiers. So that's how I see things going. I and Osamu are going to make it to Chika, and at some point in time, they're going to face an enemy they can't beat. She's going to use mini replica. Yuma's going to go back. Like I said before. Right? So that's how I see things going in the future. But as for this chapter, I thought it was pretty good. Tachikawa and that little mini speech that Kido had explaining his reasoning. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 because of that. Because of that last panel too. That last panel was good too because it let me kind of try and figure out where the arc is going. So yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.